stopping by the channel. This is my recap and review for Porsha Family Matters. This is season 1, episode 3. Let's get into the mess. Can we talk right quick, y'all, before we get into this review? I do not think Porsha's show is doing as good as I thought it would be. Well, doing as good as I thought it would. I'm not a fan of Porsha. Y'all already know that. But, like, I expected it to have better ratings, and I expected the show to, like, hit based off of the trailer and based off of Porsha being, like, the fan favorite from Real Housewives of Atlanta. And it's not doing that. Like, if I had to rate this episode that we're going to be discussing, I would give it a solid, like, C. Like, it was a solid, like, 73 or something like that. Because it wasn't all that good. Like, it was like, oh, this is cute. Like, it's cute for what it is, but it ain't nothing special, you know what I'm saying? But I do think that she dropped the ball in releasing herself or letting go of so many so many jobs in the sense, you know what I mean, y'all? Like, I don't understand why she left Roa. I really feel like she should have stayed on Roa. Yes, it would have been uncomfortable. Yes, you would have had to take your L because you look like a snake by the way in which you got with Simon. But the whole season would have been the Porsha show because that is what everybody would want to talk about for like the first couple of episodes about how you like supposedly are a home wrecking whore. Like, we would want to talk about that. And then when you go into season 15, Porsha could have negotiated a higher contract and got way more money because last season was predicated like all up on her back. Like, they wouldn't have had a good season without her if she was on it. But for her to be a coward, in my opinion, I really think it was very cowardice of her to just leave the show because she didn't want the ladies to come at her neck, even though everybody else has kind of shown their trials and tribulations. Like, if you think about it, we see how crappy Mark treats Kenya and all the different things she's went through. We seen the family shenanigans and drama that Candy has shown us. We know what Marlo be getting into. So we've seen Marlo get ran through about being a hoe. Sheree gonna be up here and we gonna see her fall flat on her face again with Tyrone because he don't want to film with her. And then we seen Drew whole thing with her man leaving and going to Florida and not telling her. So it's like everybody else was able to showcase like their faults or their L's. I don't understand why Porsha couldn't do that herself. So I think that was messed up. Also, I don't know why she left the Ricky Smiley show. Now, we have it down where I'm at. I don't listen to it in the morning. I normally listen to that channel because throughout the day they play R&B and it's really nice. But like, I know it's in other states. So I'm like, you dropped your... Because my thing was like, I feel like Porsha should have stayed on the Ricky Smiley morning show so she could promote her book even more. Like, visibility is key when you're on book tours, and not that many people are really watching the pursuit of I was about to say the pursuit of Porsha. Not that many people are really watching Porsha Family Matters like that. Like, we just gonna call a spade a spade. Like, when I did the hashtag, only 300 people were tweeting, and yes, that's a decent amount of people tweeting, but when other reality shows are on, especially we're talking about like Roa normally has over like 3,000, close to like 4,000 people tweeting. And even on their off seasons, using the hashtag and all that stuff, their off season, it's close to 2,000 and roughly like 3,000 people still tweeting, even when the season's not good. So that should tell you how not so, like, I think that what I'm trying to say is a lot of people have their favorite housewives, and they have their housewives that they think are going to be, that would do better by themselves. But some people are not stars unless they have a supporting cast, and that's very much what Porsha is. Porsha is not a star without the other women of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Porsha is not a star without her family being around. Because Porsha could not sell a show by herself. Because if this show was about Porsha and her family, i.e. Mama Elsa, Lauren, Stormy and them, it wouldn't be good. It really wouldn't. Like, then we just gonna have to call a thing. I really think she was betting on 3 things. She was betting on Simon to really have the wealth and the amount of access that he says he has, which we ain't really seen it, to be honest. We have not really seen it. And then She was betting on this book to do something. And granted, like I said, I'm not reading the book. I've listened to reviews of the book. And for the most part, people said the book is decent. But it ain't going to be on no New York's bestsellers list. Like, we know that. And then this show, I think she thought this show was going to be like Tardy for the Party, like Kim. But you got to realize Kim is white. So somebody in that genre, in that pool is watching it. The other part is I legitimately think Kim had a good contract, because eventually that white audience wasn't watching it either. Because I remember watching the first season of Don't Be Tardy for the Party, and it was cute, but it wasn't something that I'm readily running back to watch. And then they started to like move the show around. Like, the show was never during prime time. And I honestly consider prime time to be like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Sundays. Anything coming on Tuesday, anything coming on Thursday, or anything coming out, like, it's okay. It's like, it's okay. It's coming out where people are still at home, so they'll probably have people watching it on Thursday and Tuesday. But anything that is scheduled on a Friday or a Saturday, unless you RuPaul's Drag Race, ain't nobody watching it. No one is watching it, because Friday and Saturday is when people got stuff to do and they hanging out with their people. But let's get into this review, because y'all didn't come here for that. So the episode opens up the way it left off. Well, not the way it left off. It opens up with Lauren, she meditating and stuff. And Londi comes over and they're talking about the cookout and the barbecue. Londi said it was awkward, which it kind of was, because the mama side of the family was singing Simon's praises while everybody else was just kind of trying to get to know Simon. And then the grandma didn't make it any better. So Londi lets us know like the division in the family of who is who. So you got Aunt Liz, Londi, and Lauren are the Williams and Porsha Williams on her father's side. Then on her mom's side, you got Aunt Darlene, Storm, the cousin, and then Grandma Anoni. So I think they're making this division just to let them know, like, when you see people cut a fool, know which side of the family that is. So they're trying to figure out, should they invite Dennis? They're going to invite Dennis because they feel like Porsha keeps saying she wants her family to get close and really have this blended family. Then Dennis needs to be there, because at the end of the day, he's the daddy, he the pappy, So Dennis said he want his Versace robe. I remember that Versace robe because the example of the robe is that TikTok that Porsha and Dennis did when they were early on in their relationship. And so I remember that robe. So we got Lauren and Londi going to Porsha's house, and they actually got Porsha's assistant, who is Lauren W., to basically keep Porsha preoccupied while she's making breakfast for the baby, while Londi and Lauren run up in the house and, get Dennis's stuff. And I think this showed me how I feel like Dennis is telling the truth for the most part about his situation with Porsha, because why did Porsha have the robe prominently displayed around her makeup chair? Then on top of that, they went into the basement. And granted, you could say production put that there, but I don't think they did. And even if they did, okay, they put it there. But the basement, why do you still have this man's furs? Like, why do you still have so much of his stuff at your house when you are supposed to be getting married to another man? To me, it makes me think that what Dennis has been saying is true. Like, Porsha is always talking about, well, we were done after Christmas. And Dennis is always like, we were done in January. And she's like, no, we were done after Christmas. Porsha, January is only 7 days after... It's only 7 days after Christmas, if you're including January the 1st, because the 31st is 6 days, and then it's 7 days after Christmas. So it's just like, Porsha, like, that's 7 days. And like, my birthday's in January, so Christmas is always around. So that doesn't make sense to me. Why she keeps trying to be like, oh, we were broken up right after Christmas, like we were done. Like, okay, January, bruh, January. And why you still got his stuff? Why? So So they run up in the house. Lauren W. distracts her. They get the robe and they keep it pushing. Then they go over to Dennis's like hookah lounge. And mind you, I think it's important that we are seeing the multiple streams of income of Dennis. We done seen the hot dog factory. We've seen the hookah lounge now. We saw that he owned the party bus that he gifted to Porsha for her birthday. So it's like we're seeing where Dennis's money comes from. We've only seen one stream of income for Simon, which was that club. And I'm just like, there needs to be other things for him to be, quote unquote, worth over $10 million. There has to be more to it than that. Like, if I'm thinking about, I think Lisa Vanderpump is worth more than that. But we saw all of Lisa Vanderpump's income. We saw that she had multiple restaurants. We saw that she invested in other things. So I'm like, I need them to show that of Simon. Because it's like, I want to see, do you really have the money you say you do? Well, they convinced Dennis to come, even though Dennis feels like it's going to be messy if he comes, but he don't want to leave his mama by herself, which I think is important because his mama got too much. His mama a little too much. But then we see Porsha cooking breakfast for Simon. So I guess they don't live together. I thought they did, but I think that's important that they don't live together. Because if you only known this man for 2 months, he don't need to be in your house like that. So she's telling her mom, Miss Elsa, like, hey, I'm making this breakfast for Simon, but we want to bring Simon on a girls trip. The mom thinks it's a good idea, so that's what they're going to do. I didn't understand why they were counting the number of peppers until it was too late, and then it clicked for me. So she's making a traditional Nigerian breakfast, which I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think if you have a significant other that is not from America or has a certain culture, then you should engross yourself in that culture, but not lose your own culture. You know what I mean? Like, you should still learn their customs and they should learn yours. So Porsha makes it, and like I said, I didn't know, but she put well over 5 habanero peppers in that omelet. Of course, that omelet was going to be hot, and I don't think she realized how hot it was till she went, and that's how I knew it was hot, because the fact that you were like, oh yeah, girl, the back of that throat was on fire. That throat was on fire. So they tell Simon they would like him to come, and they also tell him Dennis is coming, and he act like he don't care. I will take note that when Simon was like, Porsha takes care of me after, I'm always taking care of others. And this is my thing. Like I told y'all know Tisa Tell has all the gossip and all that stuff. And, with gossip, you always got to take it with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, we all don't really know how factual things are, but her channel is still good. And when he said that, it made me think about how she did like an expose about his other 2 wives, and I think she mentioned allegedly that his first wife allegedly helped pay his college tuition and like helped him through school, allegedly. And my thing is, like, if that tea is actually true, then I'm looking at him like, oh, you're trash. Because if that lady really did help fund your way through college, then that's someone taking care of you. That's someone helping you, because she ain't had to do that. If that really is like, if that information is actual factual information. And I like allegedly, I'm gonna say allegedly, but like I believe it low key, because it seems like Simon gets what he wants from women and then he dips out. Because I feel like he got what he wanted from Fallon, which was to be on Real Housewives of Atlanta or garner some type of like minute amount of fame. But he used her, and then when he realized like she wasn't going to be on the season anymore, he jumped to a bigger fish, i.e. Porsha Williams. But he cool with Dennis coming. So, and then I also think the way she puts on when he comes in the room, baby, and then when she kisses him, it doesn't really feel like she really likes him like that, yo. And this is my thing with Porsha. I genuinely think Porsha morphs into what people want her to be, because she did it with Cordell. She was a Stepford wife with Cordell. She did it with this whole being an activist campaign, in my opinion. She also morphed for the fans. And I think we really saw who Porsha really was after her divorce with Cordell, when she was like, I'm Princess of Thoughtlandia. I think that really is who Porsha is. but then all of a sudden she had to clean up her image, and then all of a sudden she an activist. So, excuse me. It just didn't make sense. It don't be making sense sometimes with Miss Porsha. So like I said, they convinced Dennis to come. And so we start seeing a montage of everybody getting together. We see Aunt Liz and Londi looking at Aunt Liz dashikis so she can be in her best African garb as she goes to Mexico. Then we see Porsha getting ready. And then we see Storm and her mom getting ready. And this is where I have to side-eye Storm. Because Storm keeps bringing up, like, they asked, like, she was like, ooh, I can't wait to go on a trip. I want to get closer to Porsha. And then the mom was like, I want to get closer to you. So, obviously, there's something between the mom and Storm where I guess Storm isn't very, like, open towards her. And then Storm and Porsha aren't as close as, like, she lets on it to be, like, as they make it seem. Because for you to call somebody a mini Porsha, then that means y'all have, like, y'all are the same or y'all have some type of connection. And it's seeming like they really don't have what they are trying to portray that they have. So then we see Miss Gina and what's his name? And Dennis go to the crystal shop because Lauren told everybody, you know, to bring crystals. So they, you know, they following the rules. They getting their crystals. And then juxtaposed to that, we see Porsha and Elsa's like talking while Porsha getting ready. So Gina is talking, and then she lets it out the bag to Dennis that, like, yo, I told them that Porsha cheated on you, and she got that from the mama. Dennis is like, ma'am. And we end up finding out that, like, Porsha wasn't a saint while they were together, which I believe. And the reason why I believe it is because as fast as Porsha is going with Simon, she went just as fast with Dennis. So, of course, she was probably messing around with other people, and he was messing around with other people. Now, while she was pregnant, I think she thought that their relationship was a lot more serious than it was because she was like, I'm having your baby. But it's like things happen so fast that I don't think neither one of them was ready for a real commitment because they didn't know each other. But I do believe that Porsha wasn't a saint. But I think that once she got pregnant, Porsha was like, it's me and you now. And Dennis was like, no, ma'am. So it was still wrong of him to do that to her. Especially if he made her feel like they were going to be boyfriend, like they were working to be boyfriend and girlfriend, then turning boyfriend and girlfriend to like fiancés, then to like a marriage and then to a family. Then he should have never led her on in that way if that is what he did. Oh, so then Porsha told her mama that, you know, Gina told me that you told her that I cheated on Dennis. And then Mama Gina's like, she lying. I swear she lying. So now she all mad and stuff. And at this point, Mama Elsa was getting on my nerves because she was already annoying me when she was like, she was sitting on her hands as the way she was, you know, while Gina and her mama were going at it. And my thing was, they weren't even arguing like that. They were having a disagreement, which is like, your mom basically called my son a hoe. I'm telling you, my son ain't no hoe, even though your son is a hoe. Miss Gina, your son is a hoe. Your son's a hoe. But it was just, it bothered me that like, they're all trying to make it seem like she was attacking the grandma, when the grandma was the one who started it by like, having a conversation, and the grandma knew she kind of messed up. That's why she got up and was like rubbing on Dennis's shoulder because she realized she kind of overstepped her boundaries. And I don't think what Gina said was wrong because she didn't disrespect the mom. Yes, her tone did change, but at the end of the day, that's her son. Just like y'all were all defending Porsha, she gonna defend Dennis. Now, is Dennis like, now, is it kind of like Dennis is a grown man? Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's his mama. If somebody was coming at me, I would want my mama to defend me. So I just feel like people trying to act like Gina speaking up for her son, like she did too much. I think that's dumb. Because if we're sitting at a table where everyone's singing your new boyfriend's praises and then trying to dog my child out, I'm going to say something. And then like even though I know my son is wrong, I'm still gonna say something Because let's not negate the fact that your child is sitting next to a man that is her fiance that is still married to his current wife. So who really in the wrong right now? So it's time to go to Mexico, y'all. Time to go. I don't know why I did that like I was shaking imaginary maracas. Not to Mexico. And it seems like the Williams side of the family really, like, they cool with Dennis. Even Aunt Liz told Dennis she was happy that he was there, that he can hold his head up high and, like, get through this. So I thought that was nice that she was trying to encourage him. You see everybody on different buses, and then they get to the airport, and then Dennis was like, he showed up late, but he still was there. And then they get to Mexico. So while they in the car going to Mexico, Porsha lets it be known that, like, somebody gave Dennis his robe back. And it was I forgot his name, y'all. He's the really cute, like, dark-skinned assistant. Like, well, he used to be Porsha's assistant, but he's not Porsha's assistant anymore. And he's really, so he looked like he always down for a good time. And he was like, he submission, like, when he was getting on the plane, he was like, why they got me carrying your baby daddy's robe? And he was joking. I guess he was joking, but, like, being funny. But she didn't know. Porsha didn't know. So they get to Mexico. It's nice. The resort is nice. Porsha in her feelings about this said robe. But they get there. Lauren's there. Lauren's mentor is there. They have, like, Mayan dancers, which was cool. And they were, like, warding off the bad spirits. Everybody room looked nice. Dennis don't really want a room with Landy and Lauren, mainly because he was like, it's like rooming with my sister and my cousin, and he was like, I don't want to do that. I'm a grown man. But Lauren got the nicest room. The room looks similar to what Porsha and Simon have, but Lauren's room has a rooftop pool attached to it, which I thought was lit. I was like, oh, that's beautiful, girl. That's beautiful. And so but Dennis feeling some type of way, was like, oh, so you get the best room? And so he picks Lauren up and they jump in the pool together. And then they're like, okay, everybody needs to get ready to have dinner tonight. So then we see Porsha and Simon talking about Dennis and Miss Gina being there. And I'm like, why does Simon get a say in any of this? Like, honestly, Simon only been here for like 3 minutes, let you tell it. And a lot of people have been speculating that they've been dating since September 2020, which I low-key believe, because I really don't think Porsha would have this man around her child. The way she keep harping on Dennis not allowed to have, floozies around his child, around their child that they don't know like that. I really don't think she would have her child around a man that she don't know that well. So I'm prone to believe that she been messing with that man since 2000, for a year. Why he was married to Fallon. But I still don't get why he gets a say-so. I don't think he should get a say-so in any of this. Because at the end of the day, to me, it's like I said, you only been here for 3 minutes. Why does your input matter? So we end up finding out Dennis might be having some work coming. He got a boo coming. And I agree with what he's doing, and then I don't agree. I agree in the sense of like, yo, we about to be here for 4 days. It's Mexico. We in a beautiful place with a beach. Like, if I can fly somebody out, let me fly somebody out. But that would be different if this was just like a trip, not a family trip. That's why I think it's wrong in the sense of this is a family trip. Like, this is a trip for y'all to be healing and getting closer to each other. Not for you to bring a girl here so you can, like, F on, boy. Like, so I get it and then I don't get it. Like, I still think he shouldn't have did that. But, like, it seemed on the next episode with the preview that the young lady does come on a trip. She looked kind of cute. So I don't know who she is. So then we get to the dinner. Everybody's there. Everybody looked nice. They're about to have like a family style. I hate family styles. I do. I want my portion of food on my plate. I don't want to have to like reach over to you and like slap my food. Like, if this ain't a buffet, like if we're not going to go to the buffet and get our food, I don't want to be at the table with me constantly reaching to put stuff on my plate. I don't like that. That's a Leah thing, but I don't like that. But, I just was like, okay, this is cute. Everybody looked nice. And then so the shaman lady, she has like Florida water, and I guess they said they use Florida water a lot of times in like for spiritual cleansing and stuff like that. So they put some in everybody's hand, and they were supposed to like push it over like their third eye, and then put the ward in the good energy, I guess. And so everybody was doing it. Everybody felt goofy and silly. I found it odd that Simon was like looking and laughing at Dennis. Simon really thinks Dennis is a joke. Like, Simon really thinks he is way better than Dennis. And he really thinks Dennis is a joke, in my opinion, because I really do. It sounds like classism, but in my opinion, if realistically, Dennis and Simon should be like on the same level, because Dennis has his own wealth and is worth a few $1 million, and Simon is worth a few $1 million. So I don't understand why he feels the need to like shame people, like kind of like look down upon Dennis. It's annoying. It's annoying. But I just peeped that, like, they honed in on that one shot of him staring at Dennis while Dennis was doing the thing, and it like he was laughing at him, and I mean, it did look funny, but it really felt like, you already said if Dennis wasn't with Porsha, you would never speak to somebody like Dennis, so he couldn't really mean no harm in this. But now that I know that you said that before, it makes me feel like you're laughing at him, like, because you take him as a joke. I might be reading too much into this, y'all, but that's just where I'm at with them. So then they go around the table. They talking about garnering, like, what do they hope to accomplish on this trip. And everybody's talking about manifesting good things, prosperity, blah, blah, blah. You got Stormy talking about having real relationships, not fake relationships. And I was like, oh, she gonna get on my nerves. She gonna get on my nerves because she one of them type of girls. She a bird. Storm is a bird. So then we get to Porsha. Then Porsha kicks it off for the dinner to turn into trash because they asking her, like, what's going on? Like, what do you want to manifest? And she said, I couldn't think clearly. Everything was cloudy because someone took a robe out of my house. And then everybody's like, a robe. So then Dennis laughs. Londi is kind of like, oh, here we go. And then Lauren is like, oh, yeah, we took Dennis. She up front's like, yo, we took Dennis's, we took the robe to give to Dennis because he said he wasn't going to come. And then Londi reiterates and says, yeah, like, Dennis said he wouldn't come if we didn't bring him his robe. And then the shaman, I'm going to write down that lady name. The shaman lady is like, why does that bother you so much? Like, really figure out, like, why does that bother you? Because I'm with her, like, why does that bother you? Like, why does that bother you? At the end of the day, that robe, the Versace robe, is his. I hope you're not holding on to it because it says Versace, because you have enough money to buy yourself a Versace robe. Like, you really do, Porsha. But I'm like, at the end of the day, that's his robe. It's his robe, ma'am. Like, why all of a sudden, like, are you this mad? Now, granted, I can understand if she's upset that people were in her house and she didn't know, because that is a violation. But, like, to me, you know your show needs funny comedic moments, and you can't tell me that, like, she didn't know what was really, really going on. But maybe she didn't, so I'll give her that. But once you find out, I would have just, like, water off a duck's back. I'd be like, whatever, he got his robe back. You here with your man. I'd have been like, in my confessional, I probably would have been like, I'm here with my man. You here with your robe. Who winning? That's really the way I would have took it, because he not with nobody. You with a whole ass another person. So then Londi is trying to explain to Porsha that, like, because the dinner was awkward, the barbecue was awkward, we wanted to, like, make it better because we felt like Dennis needed to be here so we could all, like, heal and y'all could really bond your family. Then here comes Stormy piping up talking about it wasn't awkward for everybody. And everybody looking like, you got Lauren, Londi, and Dennis looking at Stormy like, girl, like, you don't even go here type energy. Like, who are you? And then they're like, you don't, and then Londi's like, you don't know the full story. And she's like, yes, I do. Porsha told me the full story. And then Porsha chimes in and she's like, yeah, I did catch her up on things. And Londy was like, did you really? Because then Londy hits Porsha with like, if you really did, then she should know that it's not that serious. So then you got Mama Gina's like, this is petty, which it is. And then she was like, why are you so mad over a robe? Like, it's a robe. What's the big deal about the robe? Then you have Aunt Liz even saying, like, Aunt Liz was like, this is childish. Like, it's a robe, girl. You just mad about a robe? And I'm with them like, it's a robe, girl. And at the end of the day, it's his robe. It's not your robe. So then, like, all of a sudden, Stormy is still, like, it's still getting loud. And Londy was like, girl, calm down. Like, you're not even a part of this. And then you got Dennis. Dennis was like, he was like, oh, so now you want to talk? You would, like, now you want to talk. It's been 2 years. You're a kid. Be quiet. And so then Stormy gets in her feelings. And they're going back and forth. Londy's going back and forth. And then Stormy pops her happy dappy behind up. And it's like, or what? What you gonna do about it? And Londy's like, sit down. Sit down. And you got Lauren W. like this is ghetto. Lauren's face was like. And then I'm kind of like, I'm with Londy. And I'm also with Lauren like, girl. Because Londy was like, girl, you don't even really know what the conversation is about. So then you got Lauren getting mad, getting real mad, telling everybody, like, the next person that yells, like, well, no, she didn't say that yet. So then they're arguing, and then everybody, like, Stormy ends up sitting her little small behind down. And then Porsha was like, I feel like there are games going on here. And then Lauren was like, yeah, it's a game to Dennis. And Dennis looking at her like, no, it's not. And then Porsha was laying it on thick, because then Portia's like, we're all here trying to make a better family for PJ. And Dennis was like, for real, Porsha? And like Dennis says, you just want to control everything. And it's true, because I was like, there was no need for you to try to act like he won't gonna come over the road. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. At the end of the day, that's his robe, bro. Like, give the nigga back his robe. So then she's just like upset. And so then Lauren is like pissed. And Lauren is just like, the next person that says Robe can go home. Because everybody was just harping on the robe. But we end up finding out some backstory about Storm and Dennis. Storm used to work for Dennis. Storm's recollection from the thing is that, like, Dennis was real flirty. And then she's like, negated his advances and basically told him that, like, you know, you with my cousin Porsha, I can't be messing with you. Dennis is like, basically like, no, she had poor work ethic and like she wanted to be like Porsha. And then when we found, like, with her saying that I was trying to get with her, and then it came out to be a lie, and I told Porsha, you got to cut that off. And then it makes sense why he was like, you ain't talked for 2 years. Because if you realize, PJ, the baby is 2 years old, which means for them 2 years, they were not a part of, Storm was not a part of Porsha's life because of Dennis. Because Dennis was like, she lying about me. And I kind of believe both stories. I believe that Dennis probably was flirting with her because Storm is not a bad looking girl, so I can see that. But I also believe that Storm has poor work ethic because Storm gives me bird energy. Like, she thinks she's somebody when she really not, and she not giving nobody nothing. So I was just like, oh my goodness. And then the episode cut off, and I just was like, this a mess. Like I said, when Storm popping up, because we saw it in the trailer, I thought that scene was gonna hit harder because it was so big in the, like, trailer of what the whole season was gonna be. But when she did it, it was just out of nowhere, and to me it was like, you were thirsty for a moment because nobody was giving you that type of energy. Everybody was just telling you to shut up and stay out of it because you didn't know what was going on. But because she want to be in good graces with Porsha, and on Miss Portia's side, she felt the need to, like, overexert herself so she could get some type of recognition or something. I don't know. All I know is if they come back for another season, Storm is gonna be a problem because Storm is gonna get a big head and think she's somebody, and they're gonna have to nip that in the bud. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic. Drop down in the comments below and let me know what your thoughts are. And I'm out. Deuces.